everyone. Thank you for clicking on the link to listen to this audio-video overview of the job opportunities at Lionheart Children's Academy. First of all, this is only being provided to folks that are moving through the process as a potential candidate. So that's how you got this link, through an email or some communication with us. And at the end, we're also going to provide access to some resources and materials that can help you in your job search if you're in transition. So first of all, this is an audio overview of information that is in addition to what you're going to find on the position profile, on the job posting, and on the internet. So we encourage you to listen to all of this information. Number one, in order to get ready for the next steps of the process. Number two, you're going to get some tips here that might help you with regard to wherever you land professionally, and then also to give you enough information to decide if this is really the place where you want to be. So Lionheart Children's Academy is a national organization that operates within churches in multiple states and provides childcare and educational services for everything from infants and toddlers all the way up to school-age students. So there's multiple opportunities always in all of our locations because of the growth, and you'll be invited to consider any opportunity that you're eligible to be considered for or that you're interested in. So more on that in just a second. Lionheart Children's Academy is currently based in multiple places throughout the country, in multiple states. And in each location, it operates the same way. It is embedded within a pretty substantial church, and it provides a third-party, highly managed and well-run professional program for kids. And that's the reason why the churches love to partner with Lionheart, because they bring in this experience and this track record, the name brand and the capability, and install it right inside the church. Now, the church looks at it as an opportunity to provide a service, like a ministry to families that need childcare and early education services. So in some ways, it operates as a educational institution for early childhood education, but primarily it's a ministry outreach program of the church to be able to minister to the families in the community. It also becomes what we call a front porch or a doorway into the church for folks that may not actually attend a church, but they're looking for childcare support services or early education services of some sort. And this is a perfect opportunity to introduce them to the church. Now, I'm going to guarantee you this is going to be the most interesting thing you listen to all week because of all the valuable information you're going to gain from this. And by the time you're done, you're going to know some things you didn't know, and you're going to know whether or not you want to proceed forward and how to do that best. So why are we doing this? Well, first of all, we're recruiting for multiple jobs in multiple locations simultaneously, and this is very time sensitive. We're trying to fill all of our key positions before the start of the school year. So throughout July and August and into September, we're going to be focusing on the roles that we needed to have filled to start the new year, and then after that, move into the fall and continuing to fill positions that might still be vacant or where we have expansion. That's expansion in specific places as well as new locations. Now, this is actually better for you because normally what happens when you're being considered for a job, a recruiter will call you, maybe schedule something over the phone, and then you're asked a bunch of questions. It kind of feels more like an interrogation. And if you get any of those answers wrong, then you're automatically disqualified. You're just not even considered. This gives you an opportunity to listen to a bunch of information about who we are, what we do, the job, and then when you respond back to us, you're able to give some thoughtful responses and make sure that you put your best foot forward. So that's the reason why this is so helpful to candidates in the process. Now, once again, we're talking about multiple different positions. So we're going to ask you, which ones do you want to be considered for? Infant, toddler, early childhood, preschool. We also have floater positions where they're full-time, but they're moving between different age groups with different classes. We also have teacher positions for toddlers, pre-K, and school-age kids as well. So if you're focused on one age group or another, you need to let us know. And then also what shifts and what schedules you're available to work and not work. And we'll ask you about that. And again, the timeline here is ASAP. So the first thing I want to do is just congratulate you on the process, because you don't really probably realize this, but we look at all the resumes, we pre-screen folks, and if people get an invitation from us or they get an email, we've already evaluated their background and experience, then we invite you to the next step. So you're kind of already in the middle of the process where now you're listening to this audio overview. And this is all about Lionheart as an organization nationally, its mission, vision, its culture, the perks, the benefits, the compensation. And then there's another link that you're being provided in the email we sent you, and that's more detailed information on the specific location where you're applying. So both of these things in connection with each other are going to give you a lot of information. So the next step from this is, if you're liking what you hear by the time you're done listening to this and you want to take the next step, we want to hear back from you. We've given you another link, and that's in addition to the downloadable position profile, but there's a link to a questionnaire. And we would like you to fill that out. That's our way of asking you questions that we might ask in a phone interview. This is easier because we don't have to schedule a meeting with you over the phone. And number two, you can kind of prepare your answers and think thoughtfully about what you're hearing here and then respond. And then you can also do this anytime. You can do it in the middle of the night. You can listen to this twice. It's completely different than a normal recruiting process. Then from that, what we do is we get all of your information in addition to your resume, and it goes on to the next step of review, and then to the HR team, where next steps are a video interview and then an on-site interview. And then from there, there's a contingent job offer and background check, drug tests, and all that. So let's talk a little bit more about why this might be important to you. Because what we find is that there's different types of people that are really well suited for this type of opportunity, and it's consistent with what they're looking for. First of all, you are possibly already an early childhood education student. Maybe you've got a degree, you're in school, you're looking for internship experience, you're just looking for a professional opportunity consistent with your career goal of being an early childhood educator. That's great. This is an opportunity that's perfect for you because of the professionalism of the organization, what you're going to learn, how you're going to develop your resume. There's a second type of person, and that is you're already in the childcare, preschool, early childhood education industry, but you're in an organization that doesn't celebrate your values. I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail, but you might be in an organization that is doing things that disturb your conscience or you don't agree with personally, and you would much rather be working for an organization where you can support families and kids consistent with your principles. This is an opportunity for you to find and discover that type of a place where you can be valued and not compromise your personal beliefs. Another person might be looking for an opportunity to be in ministry, where they want to be in a vocational role, and that is a real career where there's a salary, a job, and they're also in ministry, maybe for an organization, a church or something, and they need experience. This is a place where you can get ministry experience in your career as well. And then I'm going to suggest there's a fourth type of person, and that is somebody that's clicked on this and maybe you were interested and you're still listening, but you really weren't looking for something. It just came across your path, and so now you're listening. And for you, I would say maybe there's a reason why this came across your path. If you're already certified as a teacher, if you've already got experience working with young kids, maybe there's a reason why. Maybe God's tugging on your heart, or something is happening in your life that this is a good opportunity. I like to use the example of Moses. After he left Egypt, he was off in the land of Midian working with Jethro, herding sheep for years. And he was just minding his own business. And one day he got an email and it said, hey, go look at this burning bush. And boom, there's all of a sudden a voice that's talking to him, telling him he's got a mission and a purpose to go, lead the Israelites out of Egypt. So, maybe there's a reason why you got this message, and there's a reason why you're listening to this. If for any one of those things, you might be the right person and the person we're looking for. Now, from a career perspective, let me just add a comment on this, because I think what is the most valuable part of the Lionheart opportunity is you're in an organization that's professionally established with a lot of structure, capabilities, resources, training opportunities. What's going to happen to your career working here compared to a comparable childcare center or daycare or preschool or other organization is light and day different. It is extraordinary. Here there's opportunities to grow and develop career skills, education, ongoing certifications, and to be in an organization that also has long-term stability and internal growth where there's upward opportunities to be, for example, like a lead teacher or beyond that, as well as if you ever had to relocate to be able to go to a place where it already has another operation. These are really valuable things from a career perspective. And the other side of it is because we're in a ministry, Lionheart's actually a 501c3 nonprofit organization classified as a church. So this is a ministry that's Christ-centered. We're doing what Jesus would do if he was here, calling the little children to come unto him and, not let anybody, violate them or distract them from hearing a message. This is an important role that we serve to young lives. And so you have an opportunity to be in ministry, develop ministry experience, build eternal rewards, and lead others to the Lord. So if you have a heart for Christ and you also have this as a background in terms of your professional skills and capabilities, I would say you're not here by accident. There's a reason why you're listening to this. So again, you may be in transition right now and looking for a job. That's great. But if this tugs on your heart and this is something that's really interesting to you, then I think we want to explore this together. So I didn't really introduce myself, but let me explain just briefly why I can share all this information. My name's Mark. I'm a recruiting manager. I work with Proforce. So if you see that name and all the communication, we partner with Lionheart to assist with recruiting and finding great people. So that's why this is a pretty different recruiting model than maybe you've experienced before. It's a lot more efficient, it's a lot more effective, and it helps you in the process as well. Now, we don't make any of the hiring decisions. We're just supporting the recruiting function. So what we do is we gather all of your information and continue to push that forward. And we'll do the best we can to represent you, to help you. We even give you some guidance on how to show up well in the interview process. So if you're the right person, we want you to win. Now, real quick, this is an aggressive timeline, as I mentioned. So if you're getting this and you're considering either an immediate change, you need an immediate job, or you're looking for a change starting at the beginning of the school year, okay? So you may be thinking, well, I'm not ready now, but I'm probably going to be leaving my job and looking for something different in August, September. Okay, we need to talk to you now. So let's talk just briefly about the organization Lionheart. One of the things you'll see from the literature, the tour of the locations, all of the locations are beautiful, just extremely professional. The organization is growing. It's got a Christ-centered culture. So, the culture, the beliefs, the environment, all centers around doing what God would want. And because it's a ministry, our heart is really to reach people through the kids and the families. So if God's calling you to put your professional skills and your passion to work, this is the place. Lionheart has a vision that is, quote, to see children and families transformed by the gospel through Christ-centered childcare centers across the country. And to make that happen, the mission statement is to partner with local churches to operate quality Christian preschool, after school, and summer programs to reach unchurched children and their families. And I also just briefly mention core values. There are three critical core values that are so important, they permeate everything that we do. One is intentional relationships, and that means we focus on cultivating relationships and really being truly encouraging to other people. The second one is we have a heart to serve. That means we joyfully serve other people with humility and strength. And then finally, tenacity. We are brave, we're resilient, and we work with all our hearts. So if that characterizes you, or you think, wow, I would love to work in an environment like that, then we would invite you to complete the next steps of the process and let's have a conversation. Okay, before we wind up, let's talk a little bit about the job. Because as I mentioned, there is jobs for basically three types of teachers. Teachers that are involved in very young lives. So that would be infants, toddlers, preschool, and then older young people. So toddlers, preschool, all the way up to school-age children. And then there's also, on occasion, lead teacher positions that are open. So if you've been a lead teacher, there could very well be an opportunity right now or one in the future. Or if that's something you aspire to, then there's a career path here as well. So you want to look at the information that we have online, and then also when you complete the questionnaire, you can let us know which opportunities you'd be open for consideration. And we'll consider you for all of them if that's of interest to you. Now, as you would expect, in any of these roles, you would be working very closely with the employees of Lionheart, internal management and leadership, as well as obviously the family members and the students, their parents. So there's a lot of interaction that occurs, as you probably already know. And the financial benefits, I would also say, are extremely competitive. Not only is the compensation, the hourly wages competitive with the marketplace, but there's a lot of other rich things that are built in. And you'll see this when you download the position profile. Things like paid time off, which you're eligible for from the beginning, the first day you start. The fact that there's a retirement savings plan, 403B, and a Roth IRA, 10 paid holidays. Of course, there's health, medical, prescription, and dental benefits, all of that. And there's even things like education reimbursement. Look at the list. We don't have time to go over it right now, but it is pages of additional benefits to you as a professional. So you can see the organization invests heavily in its people. And that's something we're very proud of and we believe in. So again, I would just say that what's in it for you is more than just a job and more than just money. There's a career path, there's a ministry opportunity, and there's an opportunity to develop and grow over time. So please download the position profile. You'll notice that the duties and responsibilities for the positions are nothing that would surprise you. As I said, we're an extension of the church. We function as a ministry. We have a heart for the Lord to serve families and kids. So, that's a prerequisite to have that perspective. And then at the same time, we've got a job to do. So we have to be compliant. You got to be able to work independently with kids. You're supervising kids by sight and sound. And you also have to be able to guide them as they're developing good habits and create a positive environment. So, anything that's associated with childcare and education is exactly what you would expect. There's tasks associated with working with the kids, and then there's tasks associated with the academy. So, for example, staff meetings and training meetings and housekeeping responsibilities, knowing first aid, having all of your certifications up to date, are just part of what we would need to have in order to stay relevant and stay in our jobs. So if you're at least 18 years of age and you've got any early childhood education, if you've got a BA or an AA, that's great. If you have a CDA, that's even better. If you have a GED, that's fine. If you have experience to go with it. If you've already been working in a state licensed facility, awesome. We want to talk to you. And of course, if you have a desire to grow and develop a career, we want to know that as well. So the last thing I would just say is that we're looking for people that have a heart and they have, gifts that serve people well. Like they have a desire to minister to people spiritually. They want to see good outcomes. They want to reach children. They're friendly. If you're enthusiastic and you're positive, if you've got good communication skills, you're the kind of person we're looking for. So, as I mentioned, the next step is if this is really interesting to you, we want you to click on the link for the questionnaire and don't be shy. This is your chance to tell us more information about you beyond what's on your resume. One of the mistakes that candidates for jobs make all the time is they act like a candidate. No, you need to sell yourself. You need to tell us if you've got any experience working with kids, maybe at your church or with a daycare program or YMCA, or maybe you have family members where you help them all the time, or maybe you've got experience working with kids with disabilities or autism or special needs. Let us know all that stuff. We want to know anything about you. Don't be shy. Once we get that information back from you, we review that virtually immediately. You're getting a follow-up probably within a day or two at the most. And if we're doing our job right, then it's very, very quick. The last thing I would tell you is don't be discouraged. If this is not the right opportunity for you, we've got some resources that can help you. You can ask for them, or we'll let you have them at no cost, that will help you with resume writing, interviewing, with whatever you're going to do going forward. That's the smallest way we can say thank you for taking time to listen and participate in this process and to consider this job, career, and ministry opportunity. Okay, so again, my name's Mark. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to getting your information through the questionnaire process and looking forward to following up with you. Thank you again.